Okay. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.
Now you're more fluent. Thanks, Trista. How's it going, Jay?
Yeah. Kind of feel a little weird, Tone. I'm because I had you in the house.
Yeah, I can't say what's up. This is
right. Like we were not too long ago. We was just right here, and it was dope. And now we
I wish I was still in Florida. I'm not gonna lie. That was
it was great to see you, man. It was great to see you and the fam. That was so dope.
I was gonna say the fam was happy to see you.
Word.
Fluent Jr. still talking about I scored a bucket on Chill Town. I don't know how that even went in. I showed the clip. I showed the clip to his basketball team, and they're like, so you know, they know you as the guy, the one more day guy.
Oh my god.
They're like, you know, the one more day guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's obvious that it's in the blood too, Tone, with Fluent Jr. He clearly is basketball's in the blood. Like it ain't something that he he's just playing around with it.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a baller. 100% he is. He is a baller through and through. And I love that about him.
He is happy to hear that because I tell him he ain't going nowhere and he better get an education. I gotta keep him level. Level.
You do. Mm-hmm.
But he's got,
Go ahead.
I
think he's still at an age. I think he's still at an age now, Tone, where he's still trying to figure it out. And I think that he's at an age where how you're handling him, I think that's great. Where you letting him figure it out. Like you're not pushing him into it. Like he's playing, but it's not something that's mandatory that he has to do. So I think I feel like that's great that you're doing that.
He and Mrs. Fluent were like, "Hey, I want to play." I'm like, "Are you sure? Can you get me a hoop?" And I was like, "All right. Can you take me to the gym?" Sure. Can you I purposely did that because I've seen so many people that push them into it and then you love so like. Now I was very much an exception to the rule. Like I think I told you, I didn't start playing organized basketball till my freshman year in high school.
Right.
So I felt though, although that was the case, I was always in that. I always ran around, I was athletic, whatever, blah, blah. But I feel like that created a sense of like, no one pushed me into it. And I loved it. And I didn't get sick of it. Where you see guys that get to college, some get to the NBA and they're like, you see them, the love gone. So yeah, and I tease him because when and you tell me if this comparison's crazy because he's young, but I see a lot of Tyler Hero in him.
Maybe.
Like when we watched Heat and Clippers, I was like, look at how he moves. It's so like similar that I thought it was interesting.
And on top of that, Tone, what I also appreciate.
Who doesn't? I want to be Steph.
Of course. Everybody wants to be. And Steph kind of ruined it because he looked like everybody else. So it's not like, Steph is 6'7", 6'8".
He's our size. So
like you could run into Steph in the mall or somewhere like that. You could run into Steph at the gas station. So he looks like that. But with that being said, I feel like.
Tell you that, by the way?
What?
I didn't run into Steph in the gas station, but I ran into Dell.
You did not tell me that. No.
Did I? Okay, but finish it and I'll tell you the story.
What I'm thinking, Tone, is on top of you not pushing him into it, like basketball for me, like I was never going to be an aspiring doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. Like if I was going to go to college, this is how I was doing it. This was my way out. I feel like with Fluent, I feel like with Fluent Jr., I feel like there's other things that he's interested in. And because he's interested in other stuff, he can have this love for basketball and it could be genuine as opposed to you pushing him into it. That's what I like about it.
All right. So, of course, he heard.
Yep.
He heard the name Curry.
Yep.
And probably his ears were burning because he heard that we were talking about it.
Come running. As soon as he hit Curry,
that you got basketball in the blood.
I like it. What's up, nephew?
Hi.
What's going on, brother?
Don't do that. That's not cool. Okay. So to answer so what you want to hear and what he came down to hear was about Del Curry.
Yeah.
So Del Curry, I guess, as you know, played a little basketball here. Steph actually went to school here for a little bit of time, I believe in the what would have been junior high, like 6th or 7th, 8th grade, somewhere around there. And I guess there's a little up north, there's some nice lakes, Muskoka, beautiful homes, that the rich people have up in cottage country. And I guess Dell must have bought one or was going to visit a friend in one. So do you know the gas station right off the 400 that we stopped to where there's the Starbucks, the Tim Hortons? And yeah. So I was at the gas station pumping gas there, and he was coming out after getting his gas and then got in his trailer. Oh, you must have been like 3 or 4 at the time. It was just a long time. Yeah, but it was one of those, like, no one even knew who he was. I recognized him. He recognized that I recognized him, and I just gave him like a, hey, what's up? And he appreciated the recognition, but also the, hey, I'm on vacation.
Like, don't make a big deal out of this.
Who you are? What's up? Yeah, it was one of those. You didn't know
one of those. What's up, my man?
Yeah. Okay. Can I get back to the show now?
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
We're gonna say the story.
Thank you, my man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's so nice of him to let us do our show.
Thank you. I appreciate it,
yes,
man. Thank you very much.
For those who saw last week's episode, it is not going to be the last time that we do in person. We'll definitely, like we did. It's been 2 years, so let's not let it be that long since we do that. So maybe we'll do it in 6 months, because April, May, June, July. Maybe in 4 months we'll do another one. The next PCL weekend, maybe I won't say no. I did have some engagement, so they did invite me to All-Star game in San Francisco. So put it there. We should get into my favorite part of the show. Let's get into
what's that?
Can we get into headlines?
Let's start with headlines. What's going on in the news, Tone? What's up?
Shut your damn mouth.
What the hell? Headlines.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like that? Can I transition in for you? Headlines.
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Fire Mike. Didn't he win an NBA championship in Milwaukee?
Less than 5 years ago.
And now the Phoenix Suns are talking about firing Mike. Say his last name. Bud Hamenahuzer?
Mike. I call him Coach Bud. Budenholzer. That's his name. Coach Budenholzer. Yeah, Coach Budenholzer. Yeah, I call him Coach Bud.
I can't even say my own last name.
Coach Budenholzer.
Listen, the Phoenix Suns stink. Let's call it for what it is. Like, for the amount of talent, at least the top end of their talent, everyone's going, injuries, blah, blah. I don't care. The amount of talent on that team, the amount of money being spent on that team, for them to be, what, the 10th seed?
11. They're out the playoffs, though. They're out.
11. Dallas and hold on. And Dallas, who called me up to put on a uniform. May I share that with you? I don't know that I sent you this.
What's that?
I got my official letter from the NBA.
What did they say?
That I am officially an NBA. You can see that it's an official NBA email. I'm
a free agent.
I'm officially a free agent.
How about that?
So Nico Harris, listen, you couldn't do any worse than what you've already done. Sign me up to a 10-day.
Oh, they talking about forfeiting games because we don't have enough players. Like we're in the stands. Like, yo, can you play? Come on, we can get you a uniform. How about you? Can you play?
And I have videos of me making NBA threes, so I can still knock down a couple.
They basically they're decimated by injury, Tony, and they're doing everything. And Phoenix is worse than them, and they got 2 dudes on their team averaging 25 points.
That's what's going to be my point. One, I wouldn't shoot worse than Bronny's 20% from 3, so why not give me a chance? And 2, Phoenix is below them.
Garbage. Trash.
With Kevin Durant, with Booker, with Beal, they should be embarrassed. And now you see AD and coach going at it on the sideline. So that's going to be what they're going to blame, right? They're going to blame they're going to blame the coach. And let's be honest, Kevin Durant can walk this summer.
No,
Well,
not yet, Tone. He still got 2 more years on his deal.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir. He's got 2 more years on his deal. And
So
he's got and he doesn't have a no trade clause.
He does not have a no trade clause.
No, he does not.
So they
Bradley Beal and LeBron James, the only 2 dudes in the league with a no trade clause. Those are only two.
No one should have a no trade clause. But that being said, so KD, they went from a lot of talk about trading him at the deadline to now we're going to fire the coach to appease you.
But I don't think that I think this is satire. I think this is fluff because I don't think Coach Bud's going anywhere. Phoenix is a disaster, Tone. They gutted their unit. They got rid of Mikal Bridges. They got rid of DeAndre Ayton. This is a team. Devin Booker's the only guy on that crew that was on the team that was in the finals in 21. Everybody else is gone. Everybody. And they got rid of Mikal Bridges. They got rid of DeAndre Ayton. They brought in Kevin Durant. They traded for Bradley Beal. They did all of this in an effort to win the NBA championship. And here's a team that in the last 2 years, they lost to Denver in the semifinals. They got, and for all intents and purposes, if we're being honest, since we're being honest, Tone, they got smoked by Denver. Yeah, well, chill. The series went 6 games. 4 of the games Denver won. They won by an average margin of 15. They destroyed Phoenix. Last year, they got smoked. They lost in 4 games to Minnesota. Smoked. And here we are in the 24-25 season. Not only are you not going to make the second in-season tournament, you're not even going to make you're not going to make the playoffs. You're not going to make the second in-season tournament. That's how bad they are. And Tone, I am going to adopt your philosophy. This is what I'm not going to do. I am not going to put you out. I know you're on fire right now. I'm not going to put you out. I'm not helping you out at all. Nope. Because Phoenix needs their draft picks back more than anything. They don't need to trade for any more blockbuster players or any big-time players. What I need to do is I need to start over. We're in cap hell. We don't have any of our draft picks. This thing isn't working with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. We have no 5-man. We get nothing in our interior. We are a garbage basketball team right now. Garbage. And this guy right here, Coach Bud is the same guy who in 2021 coached the team to the NBA championship. Now, there's some people who will say, well, Giannis saved him. You still got to coach the team. You still have to coach the team. And he coached the team to the NBA championship. And now here we are talking about firing him. This team is a mess, and I am adopting your philosophy, Tone. If I'm other teams in the NBA, you got to make it worth my while because I am not helping Phoenix.
But they already did. Like, if you were just remember, they could have been worse. Because remember when they made those trades and they didn't have enough players, they had no defense, they didn't know how they were going to round out their roster. Do you remember this? We had this conversation, and they were like, it was all going to be minimum guys, and then they got a trade for this and got like 3 players. Like, remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember that. Yes.
I said, how stupid was the other teams by letting them off the hook a little bit? But now's the time. By the way, I looked it up. So he's got this season and next. That's it. So after next season, where he's owed $54 million, Kevin Durant, a free agent in the 26-27 season, which he'll be 38 years old.
Yeah.
But okay, he can't walk this summer, but if they don't trade him, it's hard to trade one guy in his last year unless he says, yeah, I want to go there, and says, hey, I'm going to sign. Like, remember the whole thing with Jimmy Butler? He didn't want to go to Golden State because he wanted a contract extension. They said no. He nixed the trade, and then eventually they came to an agreement and made that trade. That being said, like, if you're a team that wants to take on $54 million Kevin Durant,
right?
You want to know he's gonna, or do you want to know he's gonna resign? I don't know. Maybe he's a 1-year rental. He's 37. He'll be 38 years old. So maybe you don't want him.
That's exactly where I was going with that, Tone. I mean, when you're dealing with a guy who's in the last year of his deal, more times than not, he has all the leverage because he's young. He's probably a star. He gets to dictate wherever he wants to go. So if you're trading him, you know what? I'm not. If you think you're trading me to Dallas, I'm not trying to hear that. Not I'm using Dallas as an example, even though I think Dallas is going to be really good next year. But if you think you're trading me to Portland,
Dallas would be a good fit for him. But yes, I know what you're saying. I know.
If you trade me to Portland, I'm letting Portland know I'm not re-signing with you guys. Well, if Portland hears that, well, I'm not going to trade for him. I'm not going to give up everything that I have, because Kevin Durant's going to cost a pretty penny in order to get him there. But now we're in a space where he's 36 going on 37 years old. Why do I want that on my roster for 1 year and what I'm going to have to give up in order to get that, right? So this isn't a situation where, I could just move Kevin Durant for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack. No, I'm going to have to give up something substantial, which is what happened in Phoenix, which is what happened when he was in Golden State, when they had to move off for D'Angelo, even though D'Angelo Russell, I don't think he's in the same caliber of player, but D'Angelo Russell is the same guy who, when KD sat out, when KD sat out and when Kyrie Irving sat out, he took them to the playoffs. D'Angelo Russell did that with that crew. So with that being said, right? With that being said, I'm thinking to myself, Kevin Durant still being a high-level scorer at 36 years old, how many more years do I have Kevin Durant in the league? Because I don't think Kevin Durant is a player that's not going to be a 25-a-game guy. I think I think he retires. I think he retires as a 25-a-game. I can't see Kevin Durant averaging like 16 and 17 a game. I just don't see that happening.
I think after his next year, I think he plays he's a free agent for his 38 and 39. And I think those are his last 2 seasons. That's
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 3 more seasons. So
by that point, the WNBA will be gone because of their stupid lockout, and he and Angel Reese can hold hands and walk into the sunset.
Oh my
God. That's my prediction.
That's not going to happen, so because they're not going to lock out. They know everything that's
FYI,
at hand.
Angel Reese and KD, your kid, I'm the agent.
Oh my God.
Her rebounding and his shooting, we good.
Oh my goodness, man. So Tone, remember now. With this group, right? With this group, what I need in Phoenix more than anything, I need my draft picks back. That's what I need more than anything. I don't need another blockbuster player. I don't need a star. I need my draft picks back. So if I'm moving off of Kevin Durant, if I'm trading Kevin Durant, if I'm trading Devin Booker, I'm trading them somewhere where it works for me. And
that's the problem. That won't happen.
Well, here's the thing, Tone. What teams are the teams that have a substantial amount of draft picks? Houston has a bunch of draft picks. Oklahoma City's got a bunch of draft picks. Let's see. Those are the 2 teams that I'm thinking about off the top of my head that have draft picks, because that's what I need. I need my draft picks back because I'm starting over. And if Coach Bud is getting fired, who, for all intents and purposes, has done about as good a job as he could have done. This roster was flawed right from the beginning. Tyus Jones is a backup point guard. Not Kevin Durant, both Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, they both do the same thing. Both of those guys are 2 guards.
We knew that. We knew that when that trade went down, right? Like we knew there was who was it? Was it the owner and the son and the agent and like there was
the owner of the team, his son. I think he's Bradley Beal's agent.
That's shady right off the bat.
That just doesn't sound correct. As soon as I hear something like that, that just does not sound correct to me at all, Tone. As soon as I hear that just sounds just bad right from the beginning.
I didn't like that at all. But here's the problem. Okay, you could get rid of Booker. I think Booker has value. Yep. Beal has 0 value. And then KD, the problem is now you could trade him wherever the heck you want to trade him. But he's not going to want to go to like, an upstart. He's not. He's
not going to New Orleans. He's not.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't.
No, he's not going to New Orleans. He's not going to Utah. No, that's not going to happen, Tony.
He wants to compete for a championship. So you're going to try to do right by him, but with the exception of the 2 that you mentioned, Houston, who would give them a huge boost. Like they're already, what are they, the 2 seed right now?
Yes, they are.
That would give them a huge boost in their time frame.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned OKC. OKC makes a lot more sense to me. Send him back to the Thunder where he started. Seattle, but whatever. And there's a player right now who's better than he is at this point in their career.
Sure.
And he hasn't been the leader of a championship contending team in a long, and people will argue with me that he wasn't even the leader the first time in OKC, but let's say he was. It's been a long, like 15 years since he was the leader of a championship contending team. So I think that's a good fit for him because he wouldn't have to be, he could do what he does best, which is score and be a complementary defender. because I've always said this. My issue with Durant has always been he's a scorer and that's it. He's not a playmaker. He's not a rebounder. He's not a defender. But when he's on a good defensive team like he was in Golden State, he looked like a better defender because he had better defenders around him. And he would have that in OKC.
Sure.
Right? Like you didn't have to guard a perimeter guy. Like that's Lou Dort. That's you go do your thing.
Here's the $1 million question, though, Tone. What in Oklahoma City? What are they willing to get? One is the wound closed in Oklahoma City? I don't think it is. If I'm being honest with you, I don't. I don't think that the wound is closed.
If he said, I want to go back and finish the job that I started because I feel bad that I left it unfinished. Just like, listen, if LeBron can return to Cleveland if Vince Carter can return to Toronto, not as a player, but to get his jersey retired to standing ovations, anybody can go back.
But Tone, they did it the way he did that, though, Tone. The way he did that.
LeBron?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Tone, jumping on that Golden State Warrior team that just beat you.
Braun thought it was I thought he was going to pull out the hats like he was going to a university and put on his hat. It was not. Wow. I don't think it was worse. And were they burning his jerseys in OKC?
No, they were not.
They were in Cleveland.
They were burning his jerseys.
So I think if it's, I'll be the PR guy. You can make it nice and smooth. He comes back, and then here's the thing.
Yep.
Now, do you want to do this? Because he's often injured. But I think you give him Chet and 2 firsts, you got him.
Hell no, I ain't giving up Chet. This is what I'm talking about, Tone. What is it going to cost to get KD? We've been down this road before. And whatever it costs to get him, no matter where he is, it becomes a disaster.
I know this, there's no guarantees in life.
Yep.
If I said to you, as the GM owner of OKC, I'm going to give you KD for Chet and 2 firsts, and we're going to use our crystal ball, and it guarantees you a championship. You're making that trade. You're making that trade. Now, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees, but they need to win now.
If you tell me, Tone.
Sorry, especially if they flop this season, they have to.
If you tell me, Jay, listen, I'm giving you KD. He's going to be in Oklahoma City. I can't make any guarantees because I can't give you everything. But I can tell you, you got a really, really, really good shot at winning it. When you say a really, really good shot, what are you telling me? I can't make any guarantees. What I am telling you, though, Jay, is you have a really good shot at winning the NBA championship this year. It's going to be hard for me to turn that down. If you're doing the crystal ball thing with me, Tone, and you're telling me that you can't guarantee me this, but you're telling me, yo, you got a really, really good shot at winning it. I'm taking that chance and I'm doing it. 100% I'm doing it.
Let me ask you this. Crystal ball's broken. OKC gets number 1 seed knocked out in the first round. You doing that either now? Are you doing it?
No, because I think no. The reason why, one, it depends on how we lose. That's number one.
Well, if you lose in the first round, it's ugly. That's like,
well, Tone, SGA could have gotten hurt. Chet could have gotten hurt again. J-Dub could have gotten hurt. Something like that. That or we just were god awful and we couldn't do anything, and we ran into a buzzsaw.
So let's
like
say
what happened with
Chet gets hurt again.
If Chet gets hurt again, if Chet gets hurt again, and he's still on his Rook deal, so we still got some wiggle. We still got some wiggle room with him. Like we didn't pay him yet, so
get the team involved.
We may have to. We you know how I am with that, Tone. We may have to get a third team involved in that. But with that being said, with that being said, Tone, I just don't think that the wound is closed yet in Oklahoma City. I know that you can go back home. I do know that.
You know what would close it? Him going back and winning a chip.
Well, here's the thing. I think the reason why James, it was less difficult for him to come back home because he won in Miami. And they're figuring in Cleveland, he's going to do that with us. He's coming back home, and he's going to do that with us. Tone, Kevin Durant, since he left
Golden State.
No. We're not doing that, Tone. No. Since he left Golden State, lost in the second round, swept in the first round, lost in the second round again, swept in the first round, not making the playoffs. Jesus Christ, Tone. Oh my goodness. What are we doing? That is awful.
That's KD.
That is
awful. That
awful.
KD is your one. I told you he wasn't good enough. All
And-
right, next up. Oh yeah. Next up. The NBA Finals.
Mhm.
Who the NBA wants versus who the fans want.
Mhm.
I disagree with you because as a fan, I want this. I
You sure
need
do.
this. I
Okay.
love this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the NBA clearly would love. Now, one thing
Wait
about
a minute, Tone. I want you to stay right there, Tone. What? Wait a minute. You love what, Tone? What do you need, Tone? What are you talking about?
the picture right there. Lakers,
Okay.
Celtics.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I'm
Uh-huh.
telling you right now, if that dude, if LeBron James brings one more title to the Lakers, I am prepared to go against my rule of active players, and I will give him what status.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
If he brings my Lakers one more,
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm in.
Let's 86 this. Okay,
James Kingdom just had a heart attack. This is all over.
We got to scratch this out. Hold on, scratch this out. Take this guy, move this guy down. Okay, Michael Jordan here. Okay, take this guy, move this guy up. LeBron James here. Man,
I've been really reviewing my top 20 list.
Yeah.
And there's a big shuffle. Because there's a bit I've changed my view on a couple of people because I kept looking at their basketball holistically and I was like, no, all we're talking about is NBA. And because like I've said before, if it's all basketball, I think it's Kareem at 1 and it's not even close. So that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. So
yeah. Go James Kingdom. Yes, if he loses in the finals to the Celtics, and now the Celtics go up 2 chips on my Lakers, yes, he drops to like 12.
I got to defend 7 losses. That's my issue, and I don't want to have to do that.
That's tough.
I don't want to have to do that. I'm not interested.
That's gonna be hard. That's gonna be really hard.
I don't want to have to do that if I got to.
But let's stick to what the topic is. This the NBA wants Lakers, Celtics. You think, or what you sent me, the fans want OKC Cleveland. I disagree. I disagree. Why? Please make your case why you believe they want OKC Cleveland.
So, from a business perspective, these two guys over here, this makes the most sense for the NBA. 100%. The Celtics and the Lakers. That is must-see TV. Adam Silver is at home hoping. And if there's anything that he can do to make this happen, this would be great for business. This would be great for ratings. This would be great for the league. This would be great for the game. The Lakers and the Celtics, the rivalry is renewed. They're back in the NBA Finals. We can get this thing going. There's a bunch of different headlines. Is Coach Mazzulla the better coach? Is Coach Mazzulla a better coach than we think he is? JJ Redick wasn't a gimmick. JJ Redick is actually a really good coach. LeBron James, does he still have it? Is this a farewell for him? Jason Tatum, are you prepared to retire LeBron James? The Celtics, they would go up 2 championships on the Lakers if they ended for the most all-time in the NBA. They would go up 2 of them. This would be must-see TV for the NBA if that happens. Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers, what exactly is the storyline here? Because that's what these things are built on. They're built on narratives and they're built on storylines. What's the storyline here? The up-and-coming young Oklahoma City team against the Cleveland Cavaliers without LeBron James. Can they win the NBA championship without LeBron James? Not nearly as many people care about that than they do the Lakers and the Celtics. Not even close.
Adam Silver's not David Stern. Who would come out and say, I would love to have a Lakers Celtics final.
He did, but he's thinking it though. He's thinking it.
Because he's definitely thinking it. But that's that. No, I don't think anyone wants to see OKC Cleveland. Unless you live in OKC or Cleveland,
You don't care.
no one wants to see it. And I don't know the numbers. I can look them up, I'm sure, but I guarantee you, if I look at TV viewership, which is still how the NBA to this day, still how they are being evaluated, and therefore contracts are being signed, is based on US only TV viewership.
Yep.
And this would be the highest viewed NBA final in decades. In decades.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about NBA finals that were like viewed big time.
It'll be like the 96 Bulls.
The 98 game 6 of the 98 NBA finals. That was the highest rated NBA finals game in NBA history. The Lakers I think the Lakers in 2000 game 6. That series was pretty that series was pretty high rated. And to your point, Tone, if the Lakers lose to the Trailblazers in 2000, if your boys lose to the Trailblazers in game 7, what does an Indiana Trailblazers final look like?
I don't know, because no one would watch.
Nobody cares. Nobody would care to watch that. They wouldn't. You guys talk to me all the time. You guys don't talk to me sometimes or most times. You guys talk to me all the time about being the underdog and wanting to see the underdog. And when the underdog is there, you don't care. You do not care. You don't. I've seen it time and time again. You wanted to see LeBron James in the finals against Tim Duncan. Well, you saw him in the finals against Tim Duncan. I think it was the lowest rated finals in NBA history. Nobody watched.
No, people want to see the most popular teams, and they want to see dynasties. And as much as everyone says, no, we want parity in the league, that's a lie. Because in the 70s, there was parity, and everyone said that was the worst decade because it was a different team winning every year. Just like we've seen over the last few years in the NBA now. What's happening to the ratings? I don't think it's an issue. I know it's the the face of the league stuff, but also I don't think it's so many threes are being shot.
Right.
I honestly, there's nobody to root for or against. When you have a Bulls dominating, people watch because they either become fans of this team that is so dominant, or they hate them and they want to see them lose. Either way, they tune in. When the Patriots were winning Super Bowls, everybody loved them or hated them. There was no in between. Nobody said, "Oh, whatever." Sure. In the 90s with Dallas and San Francisco in the NFL, it was Miami goes to 4 straight NBA championships. Guess when the ratings started to go up again in the NBA finals? The Golden State. Like, that's when it is. So if it's me and I'm Adam Silver, I am telling you right now, I'm making sure it's the Lakers and the Celtics, and I'm cutting off snipping everybody's cable, meaning anybody that's not network television in the US, you don't get it. You don't get it. I'm going to have it on ABC, NBC, CBC, LMNOP, QRS, only in the US. And anybody else, too bad. You got to find a way to get it, because I want my TV ratings to skyrocket. And then I go to those ESPNs and ABCs and go, hey, I know we just signed a deal, but we need a bump.
Well, here's the thing, Tona. I think that the rating system is skewed because I don't think that they've caught up with the times. What I mean when I say that is I feel like I feel like a lot of the stuff that we see in the NBA today in terms of ratings, like we don't discuss streaming. Not only do we not discuss streaming, we don't discuss on the internet. We don't discuss on other networks. We don't discuss how they are looking at that. I had a really good point brought to me, Tone. I don't know, the Western Conference Finals are tomorrow night. Tone, you invite me over to the house tomorrow night to watch the Western Conference Finals. I come over to the house. It's you, it's your family and myself, and it's a bunch of other people who come over to the house. But what they only see is it's on one TV, and it's just you watching. When in reality, it's a bunch of us watching this. It's a bunch of different eyes on this. And because it's a bunch of different eyes on this, they don't see it that way. And I think that they need to get with the times in understanding households, streaming, how the internet works, how viewership works in other places.
Households, they do take into account a little bit. Yep. They take the average household. And so they'll say if it's, if the average household is 3 or 2.5 people, and they say, 10 households are watching, so we'll give it 25. And then there's a rating, there's a Nielsen rating, and blah 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 whatever. But I think more so, your point is it's the streaming that they're watching, and it's international because the NBA has done such a great job of growing globally.
Yep.
They forgot that it grew globally, and they're missing billions of people in China who watch the NBA, and they don't even count them. In India, in 30 million people in Canada. Like there's parts Australia. Okay, smaller markets, but I mean, like, just imagine you took out all the viewers in California. Would that give you a fair assessment of who's watching the NBA in the US? Well, that's what you're doing by ignoring Canada. So these are the things that they're forgetting, how many people are watching globally, and you know what else? I don't think they're making as much money as they could by tapping into those and saying, hey, you want to stream it, you need to pay us X. You need to do this. You need to, like, they could be actually making so much more money, but because it's a bunch of old school guys doing old school things, what's their biggest concern? What's the TV deal we got there, Bobby? Because that's how they made their money in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 2010s. And they haven't progressed fast enough. Sorry, Bobby.
I do think that there's some truth to that, but to counter that point, Tone, I was in San Francisco for All-Star Weekend. The NBA is vibrant. The NBA is as popular as it's ever been. That place was a zoo when it came to the All-Star Weekend. There was an abundance of people in San Francisco for the All-Star game. The NBA has an abundance amount of love. That part I won't argue. However, the way that streaming is today, that's one of the main problems that they have, that they're having. They're charging too much. The quality isn't very good. NBA League Pass, for all intents and purposes, Tone, it sucks. You know what I mean? I was actually unplugging my TV because I thought something was wrong with my cable. I'm like, there's something going on here that I got to unplug my TV and I got to restart this whole thing because it's skipping and it's stopping. In the meat and potatoes of games, I'm thinking there's something wrong. League Pass sucks, Tone. So there's other streams, there's other ways to stream.
Not brought to you by.
There we go. Hey, listen, man. NBA League Pass, if we're being honest, a lot of the stuff that they're doing in terms of streaming, it's just not good. The quality sucks. And because the quality sucks, it gives the consumer false, you're operating this under false pretense that this is good. And it's not. And I have League Pass. I actually have League Pass. So because I get to watch this and I'm watching the game, I'm worried, Tone, that maybe I'm not going to be able to watch this whole game because it's going to skip. But I digress. The ratings in the NBA are a lot higher than what they're shown on paper.
Agreed.
More people are watching than you guys know. But if the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cavs are in the finals, I think it's going to be one of the lowest rated finals in NBA history. As opposed to the Celtics and the Lakers. There's way more storylines. Not only is there way more storylines, there's a villain, there's a hero. There is no villain in Oklahoma City. There is no hero in Cleveland. Outside of Cleveland, nationally.
Yeah. How about Luka getting another shot at the Celtics?
Literally the next year, by the way, not 5 years later.
On a different team. Yeah.
Yes.
Where and of course the Dallas guy saying, well, that's part of the reason we traded him is how poorly he played against them in the finals. I have totals for this year, so I don't want to use this year. So I'm going to use last year's numbers because it's crazy to me. What teams, and you can give me top 5, top 10, top 3, whatever you want, do you think averaged the highest attendance numbers last year?
The top 3 who averaged
so 41 home games, 2024, 23-24 season, the season that ended in last year.
The Bulls always have high attendance.
Number 1.
Yeah, the Bulls. The Bulls sell out almost every night. Yes.
So Chicago fans, FYI, this is why your team will always suck.
Yep, because y'all keep coming to the games.
You have no reason to win.
Yeah, okay. The Bulls sell out every night. Let's see. I'm thinking about teams with big arenas because not everybody's got the same size arena. There's teams with smaller arenas. I feel like the Knicks are at the top of the list too.
The Knicks are number 5.
Okay, so they're in the top 5. I think the Lakers are there too.
The Lakers are number 11.
Okay, so they ain't even in the top 10. The Celtics sell out almost every night.
Number 9.
Wow, the Celtics are barely in the top 10. The Bulls, I feel like Toronto was in there too, Tom.
Number 7.
Okay, so they're not out there, but they're not in the top 3. I'm thinking about teams that are selling out every night. Chicago. How about Milwaukee?
The Bucks are number 20.
No, so they're not really going to see the Bucks. They're not going to see
Now this is
going to see Brooklyn.
This
is just at home. This is just in their building.
So last year it was the Bulls,
Yep,
Mavericks,
Dallas,
76ers,
Philly,
Heat, and the Knicks.
and Miami.
I was
Wow.
very surprised after going to a Heat game because it was empty.
A lot of empty seats in the American Airlines
I know
Arena.
seats that were paid for, not necessarily seats that
And the Kaseya Center, not American Airlines Arena. It's not American Airlines Arena anymore. It's the Kaseya Center. Yes, that's correct.
The Kaseya Center. Yes.
That's
This was
interesting.
last year. But it's interesting that the Bulls are always, like I said, it doesn't have to do with necessarily how good you are as a team. So
Right.
anyways, next up. Troll alert!
Uh-oh.
Troll alert!
Mm-hmm.
I want to read you something. People really think it's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
People actually think that they can tell people what to do.
Right.
Just period. And that's the end of the sentence.
Hmm.
I'm going to read you a DM I got.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you're one of the judges from Duh PCL. DA. Duh PCL. It should be DUH. Duh. Who do you think won between Chill and Mike? And don't be biased towards Chill.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I honestly joined after the third round had started. So I'd have to go back and listen to it all. Because I wasn't judging that round, although I've put it out there.
Yep.
I honestly, from what you heard, who do you think won the third round? I said I got like the last couple of minutes of it, so I wouldn't even give anything. Here's where it gets interesting, though. Here's like, why are you reading this? And I said, however, as a judge, I'm always one that I take away marks if you don't turn on your camera. Because I believe if you're having, I don't know who's behind you, who's whispering in your ear, this, that, whatever. What are you looking at? Your body language is part of a debate. So that's
yes, it is.
I said that is one thing that I didn't appreciate from what I saw. He said, Ron told me he didn't need a camera, but when judging, you should only worry about the points that they made rather than all the other stuff like a camera. And I said, oh, when I judge, I'll worry about what I worry about, and I'll tell the people this is what I'm going to judge you on.
Yep.
Then he comes back. Go off the judging criteria you were given. Stop trying to find ways for your boy Chill to win. I'm noticing you have a bias. That makes hard for you to judge fairly. I want to make sure there is no funny business going on with you. I just said I wasn't judging that debate at all, right? I said that to you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not even judging it. Did I sound like I was being biased? So I told him, I really don't care what you say. Eat it. Then he says, you got mad because you know I'm telling the truth. You have a biased point of view because your friend is competing. This should disqualify you from judging because you let personal feelings get in the way of what really happened. Didn't I just say I wasn't judging?
You didn't. First of all, you came in. You didn't even see the debate. You came in at the end of it on the third topic. Right. You came in on the third topic. Yes, you came in on the third topic.
Just make sure you do what the hell you're supposed to do when it's time to do it. Go back to doing what you was doing and keep your mouth shut. From here on out, this conversation is over, Goofy, and that's the bottom line. Clown face.
That's the dude. I can tell you right now, Tone. That's the dude that I actually went up against in the.
Oh, you think that's it?
That's him. That's 100% him. Yes, that is 100% him. Yes. That's the dude that I went up against.
Eric, I rarely check comments, and this is on IT, so I rarely, but it was it's so and I want to give you another one. I'm gonna give you another one because here's another one. And I'm gonna post this one on TikTok shortly. But there was a guy who was coming at me on X, which I'm like you, I only have an X. Just to go check out on. It used to be for Woj,
right?
I don't, and I'm not a Shams guy. I don't like Shams at all. I think he's useless. And I don't know if you've noticed now, you can't even get his updates unless you subscribe and pay.
I did not know that.
He just started that now.
I did not know that.
Now he wants for you to also pay. That dude's ridiculous.
No, I'm good on Shams.
So this dude, we need you on PCL next season. I'm not doing PCL. I already won every debate. You guys suck. You can't.
I'm in, just so y'all know, I'm in the PCL too. So he's talking about me. Just so y'all know.
I retired. So I told them unless they get judges who are going to judge based on points, not based on. Well, I agree with you, so I'm going to vote for you. I'm not, and that's why I offered to judge, because I said I don't care if it's you. I don't care if it's Ox. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Mars. I don't care that he has a lovely accent. I don't give a damn. If you make the better point, you get the point. If you don't, then you lose. If you tell me, I'm trying to think of the worst player I can think of. If you tell me Terry Cummings is the GOAT, and you make 3 valid arguments, and the other person says Jordan's the GOAT, who I believe is the GOAT, and he only makes 1 valid argument, that person who had Terry Cummings is going to win the debate, because the point of a debate isn't who I agree with, it's who made the better points. So that's why I said I would offer, because I don't care. Like I said, if it's you, if it's Ron, if it's Mike, if it's Mars, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Dub. If Dub makes the better points, I'm giving him the point. I don't care. Now, that being said, this guy says to me he wants to challenge me to a one-on-one. Play basketball, because he found out he's in my city. And I said, listen, I was, even when I was in my peak, I'm not a one-on-one guy. I'm a run off a screen and shoot a 3. I'm gonna pick and pop. I'm gonna make an I cut and get open, a V cut and pop a 3.
Tone is the curl and the flare guy. That's who Tone is.
Yeah. One-on-one, tons of people have beaten me in one-on-one. I don't care. That being said, and I said, okay, I go, that's fine. Like, I'm 100 years old with a broken back, but sure, I'll play you. No problem, I said. He says, I don't care about your broken back. I'm going to break your ankles on the court. I said, good luck with that. Let me know when and where. Because you know how people are. Once you say, let me know when and where. He says, Milton YMCA, March the 15th. I'm like, bet. What time? Ghost.
Nothing.
Ghost. Nothing. Ghost. Just disappeared. I even said, hey. I even went back and said, hey, hello, what time? Nothing. Afterwards, on the 16th, I went, hey, what happened? You didn't tell me the time. Nothing. Like, I mean, ghosted. Like, oh.
Give me a break.
It's like these guys that want to battle, like always say, like, oh, I want to challenge you to a debate. I had another dude, 9:30. He said, 9:30 Saturday. I challenge you to a debate. I said, cool, let's do it. I said, cool, let's do it. Yes, Milton, Ontario, Bubba.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I think that
let's do it because I haven't done a debate in a while. So I said, let's do it.
Yeah.
He says, oh, I can't. There's an MMA fight on. Let's do it on Sunday. Said, I can't fly into Miami on Sunday. He goes, all right, book it for next Saturday then. I said, cool. I'll see you Saturday at 9:30. Yep. Doesn't show up. You know me. I call him out on TikTok and go, another one. Didn't show up. What are you talking about? We didn't set it up. I go, you don't have any proof. I go, yeah, I keep all the receipts. Here you go. Here's where you said next Saturday and you didn't show. No, that was different.
Here we go.
Get out of here.
Give me a break, man. I'm good. So
one more. Can I give you one more troll alert?
Let's do
Can I
it.
give you, can I give you one
Let's
more?
do it. Let's do it.
Because I have a list of them.
You just made the list.
So I got this guy that I've been trolling because I like to have fun with these dudes. And he says, and I quote, LeBron James has never, I don't know how it came up. He said Michael Jordan only won so many scoring titles because he shot 30 shots per game. And I'm like, well, I get it that you're exaggerating because he never once averaged 30 field goal attempts per game. Oh, one time he did average 27, but the rest of the time he didn't even average over 25. And he said something that sparked me to say, he said something about LeBron James never leading the league in field goal attempts. And I said, yeah, he did 2 times in a row. In fact, no, he didn't. I said, yes, he did. He led the league in field goal attempts per game. We're talking field goal attempts per game 2 years in a row. And I go, and didn't win the scoring title in either one of those seasons.
Took the most shots.
And he argued and argued. He said, that's not true. And I said, look, here's the truth. Look, in 2021-22, he averaged, I don't know the exact number. Call it 22.2 shots per game. Luka, who's second, was 22.1. And Joel Embiid won the scoring title. He averaged 0.3 points more than LeBron. I said the next year, similar thing. He averaged 21.6, and Luka averaged, who was second again, 21.3. He averaged 28.9 points, and Embiid averaged 33. It was like 6 points difference, 33 per game.
Right.
And he said, well, I Googled it. And when I Googled it, it said Jason Tatum had the most field goal attempts. And I said, well, that's your problem right there. Is you're Googling.
That's number one.
And he said, well, it was, and he said totals. And I said, but you said, and I quote, like, I'll read you the quote. He said, LeBron James has never led the league in shots per game. That I said, that's what you said. Shots per game. Why are you talking totals? And he's tagging you in it. He's saying, Kill, come and get your boy. He's crashing hard. Even though
you've shown him the proof. 2021, James shot the most shots per game in the league.
Now, go James Kingdom, to his credit, Johnny ran to his defense and said, well, he only played 56 games that season, so he didn't qualify because you have to play 58. So that's why he didn't know. And I'm like, the stats are still out there, though. I said, he played 56. Luka only played 65. So
7 more games.
2 more. Well, if he played 2 more games, he would have qualified. But just because he didn't qualify, still, it's not like he played 6 games. He played 56 games. Right. And I said, it's still valid, right? And he's like, no. And he's crashing hard. So I hope I didn't cause him any strain, because I start to worry about these guys in the comments, because all they have is, the
trolls that you deal with on a daily basis. I just think that it's I think it's menacing, to be honest with you, because to listen to some of these people and some of their comments, it's mind-blowing to me. And how, especially when I'm doing playback, like how personal they get, and how, like I said this to the guys in San Francisco. I said this to the guys on the panel. Yo, not everybody doesn't love me. Don't think that, just because, I'm chill and no, there's plenty of people who can't stand me. Plenty of people who have nothing but bad things to say about me, clearly. And I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, but this is what I signed up for.
But you more than me, you sometimes, I do say, you sometimes do let it get to you. Whereas, I always remember Shaq Kiske, not Shaq O'Neal, saying, you know what I love about you, Fluent? I'm like, what? He's like, you don't care. I'm like, you're right. I don't. And all these guys are like, you're getting mad. I'm not. I really don't care. I'd like have zero. I give zero. What's? And they're like, how? And he asked me once. He goes, how? Because all of these guys, like you to a certain extent, like you'll yell at the chat. Ox, Ron, Dub used to freak out back in the day, and they're like, you just like whatever. I'm like, I don't care.
Because I don't care.
Okay,
I really don't care.
Because guess what? The camera's going to go off, and I'm gonna go to my beautiful life. And you were part of that for a couple of days this week. You saw it. I got a beautiful life. I got everything.
Tone does not have a lot to complain about. Let's be clear about that.
I got nothing, man. We were in Miami. It was beautiful. All right, let's go to what do we got? We got some time. So those are the headlines.
Sure. Troll alert.
Now, this is my favorite part of the day.
What's going on, Tone?
That's a weird phone number that I haven't seen in a very long time. Malcolm's going to ask me to write an article, and the answer is going to be hell no, I don't write.
An article about what?
Sports.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, I used to write after every Raptors game.
Yep.
That's how I had like the press pass and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I used to write like a game recap, and he was the editor of.
Oh, I do remember you telling me about that. Yeah,
right.
I do remember you telling me about that.
I wrote for it, and I was like, "Listen, I appreciate the press pass. Like, it's nice. I'd like to take my family. I don't want to just go alone, but thank you." But like I said to your guy Mike, the guy that you debated, who also challenged me to a debate, by the way, I said, "How much?" Here, Mike, let me call Mike out. So Mike DM'd me on TikTok and said, "I seen you post about how nobody from the comments ever shows up for debates." Facts. Still, actually, there's a guy that's supposed to show up today. Let's see if he shows up.
Yep.
His name is. Let me. I don't want to misquote what his name is. Betsy? No, Bestie is here. I'm gonna. You guys can all go scam him on this. You can all go spam, since you guys love to spam in the chat. You can go spam him on TikTok. His name is. Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute. Too much time in Miami, bro.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Uncle Luke.
I
want to say it's Bestie, but I feel like I'm gonna.
How do you spell it, Tone?
I'm almost there. Did he?
Oh, you don't have it. Okay.
He might be hiding from me now. People tend to challenge, and then my favorite thing that they do, and this is X more than any other thing. They say something stupid, I debunk them, and then they say like something what they think is mean that's going to hurt my feelings, and then they block you, so you can't respond. His name is Daryl Best 85 at Daryl Best 2 is his TikTok, who says, "Come and challenge me for I don't even know." Oh, I know what he wanted to challenge me on. Your guy Gilbert Arenas said totals are the only thing that matters. If you score more total points, you're the better scorer. Period. And I said, well, in that case, and I've had this debate with you already, so it's not a debate. And I said, well, if that's all that matters, I said, then Bill Cartwright is a better scorer than Gilbert Arenas.
Yep, that's the way you fit. That's how you get to the bottom of that.
And so then he was picking on our guy Richard Jefferson, and said, "You know why nobody follows you? Because you wasn't that good." And so I made a video showing how Richard Jefferson has more total points, more total rebounds, more total assists, more total every statistic at higher percentages. And I said, by your logic, he's actually better than you. So if he wasn't that good, what are you? And Best, I guess, ran to Gilbert Arenas' defense. Sorry, I was going to read you Mike's DM. So Mike said he had heard that people weren't showing up for debates. You going to bed?
Go to bed.
No, you're just listening. Okay, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's like live studio audience. I'm here to change that narrative and challenge you to debate on any topic. I said, okay, pick a topic. And he said, well, who do you think is better, current SGA or peak Ray Allen? I have SGA. Oh, sorry, or peak Allen Iverson. My bad.
Right,
peak Allen Iverson. And he said, or we can do Steph plus Magic versus Magic, or Jokic versus Larry Bird. And I said, I got SGA and I got Jokic. So, and I got Magic because, well, Magic is my favorite player.
Right.
And he said, cool. Oh, so I said, okay. I said, but you pick because you challenged me. So if you come to my house and challenge me, then what do you challenge me on? I'm not picking a topic. So
Right.
he said, okay, let's do Magic versus Steph. I said, cool. I said, how much money are you putting down?
Crickets.
And I said, no, not. And I said, oh, and camera on, because that's one of my rules. And he said, why does the camera have to be on? And I said, because that's oh, sorry. He also said, who said we were putting down money? I don't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
Do you work for free?
No, I do not.
I don't work for free.
I get paid for what I do. I get paid for what I do.
So he said, fine. He said he'll turn on his camera. He turned on his camera, but he's not putting down any money. So probably gonna have a Steph versus Magic debate. I'll let you know when. So let me know. I know Mike watches, so Mike, hit me back up in the DMs. Let me know when and what time. And then he said, so who do you think won between Chill and I? And I said the same thing, which was I came in with like 2 minutes left. And honestly, even when I'll be honest, even when I was there, I wasn't listening.
Right.
I was commenting in the comments because I was like, it was more fun. Sometimes, no offense.
If you would have said that I won, you were immediately wrong because you know me, not because I actually won.
And like I said, I'm being fair and saying I didn't listen to the whole thing, so I cannot pick. I will not pick.
Yeah, not because I actually won, because I did.
Said, when I got there, the comments were so funny that I was just like in the comments, and when I'm reading and typing, I don't listen. Ask my wife if I'm doing something, if I'm working on my computer, she'll be right next to me going hello, blah, 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 and I'll be and she's like, can you answer? And I'm like, answer what? She's like, I've been talking for 10 minutes. Like, I didn't hear a word you said.
I'm sorry. I'm
so
busy doing
yes,
something.
there was someone in the comments that said he was using Chat GPT to put in to get his answers. And I'm like, is that true? And people are like, how can you accuse him of that? I'm like, I'm not accusing him of that. I said that's what I read, and I'm like, they all went crazy. The comments sometimes are funnier. Like if you go to Twitter or X, whatever the hell, or IG's gotten very toxic as well, like Twitter. Just go pick any random post that you see. Don't even look at the post. Just read the comments. Hilarious. I think I'm going to start a show just called Reading the Comments.
The toxicity of the comments.
And I was just randomly go like this, randomly scroll and go stop. And I'll
toxicity of the comments.
I'll just read the comments, and you will see
Oh
people
my goodness.
on post about kittens. Oh, look how cute my kitten is. They will get into a fight about the garbage man. Like it doesn't even have to do anything with the post. It is nothing. So funny
whatsoever. Yes. No, I'm good.
I think we actually want to go through the awards though, right? Is that what we're gonna do?
Is that what we're doing, Tone? We got some good stuff here.
I think we should.
All right, let's do that.
All right. So
I want to hear Chill too.
You want to hear Chill too? Okay.
I want to hear his perspective.
We're getting infiltrated by the youth.
That's what it looked like. It looks like you got a co-host, or I'm the co-host, but you got another we got another co-host. It's three of us. I like it. All right.
I think like he's the host. We're just the guests.
Yeah, that might be true too. Yes.
All right. You want to start with the big one?
Where are we? So let's set this thing up. So we got probably a month left. Today is the 18th of March. I think a month from today, the play-in tournament starts. And if it doesn't start a month from today, it probably starts 3 weeks from today. I think it's like around April the 12th or something like that. April the 12th until like the 15th, the play-in tournament starts. Now, with that being said, we got about 3 weeks left in the regular season. And at this point, we got a bunch of different races that are close. And then we have some races that some people have, I feel like, made some ground up, but I've also feel like some people have separated themselves. So we're going to discuss being a league MVP. We're going to discuss who's all pro this year, who's the defensive player of the year, who's the sixth man of the year, who's the most improved player in the NBA this season. Of all the guys in the league this season, who is the most improved player? And we're going to discuss who the clutch player of the year is this season. And this is one of my favorite segments that me and Tone do, because I feel like it changes, and I feel like it changes so much that you might just get something. You might just get something out of nowhere. So I want to start with the All Pro team, Tone. That's what that's what I'd like to start with. I want to start with the All Pro team. And
All right.
starting with the All Pro, I'm starting with the All Pro team. Tone, I think we got 4 locks at first team All Pro. I think we got 4 locks. That's Joker, Giannis, SGA, and Jason Tatum. I think those are 4 locks as first team All Pro. So now we got a 5th spot that's open. Well, that spot looked like it was going to Wemby. Well, Wemby's out. Wemby ended up getting hurt, so he's out. Well, Cat was right up next because Cat was doing what he was doing.
Remind me for a second. All Pro now is positionless, correct?
Yes, sir. No 2 guards, no 2 forwards in the center. It's all positionless. That's all
Just
it is.
5. Okay.
Yep. So Cat looked like he was making some strides to be first team All Pro in what he was doing. Then he kind of tapered off just a little bit. And enter James. He was player of the month in February, averaged 29 a game. Your Lakers are rolling, Tone. I think you're a game out the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, but he ended up getting hurt, right? So now, who does that leave? Not this Saturday that just passed, last Saturday against the Celtics.
I don't know. Every March, the same days he takes off. Are you sure?
I keep hearing that. I do. I keep hearing that he's gonna cut. He went to Wakanda to get the vibranium. That's where he really went.
I thought he went to that. I watched the Eternals where the hand came out of the ocean. To get that, sure.
No, but I don't think that. I'm just playing. To be honest with you guys, I don't think that he's not hurt. They're not in a position to lose him for any games. This isn't Oklahoma City.
So that it's the same days in March every year. It's a crazy. It is. Like who? Neymar? No one knows Neymar. We don't watch soccer, bro.
No, but he did it like for his sister's birthday.
Oh, it's his sister's birthday. Okay, that's okay. So Neymar apparently takes his sister's birthday off every year.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Now we're more fluent.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. So like I was saying, Tone. So Cat, he ends up not in the running. He's still in the running. James ends up getting hurt. He was in the running. It looked like he was going to be first team All Pro. I think that the 5th guy, I think is Donovan Mitchell in Cleveland. I think that he's been around the longest. I think that with the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they've been doing in terms of winning, his scoring average hasn't been what it was 2 years ago. In fact, it's gone down, but his playmaking has gotten a lot better. His defense has been really good this season. And on top of that, I think he got robbed 2 years ago when both Luka and SGA made first team All Pro. And they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't even make the playoffs, and they were first team All Pro. I think Donovan Mitchell is first team All Pro this season. So
I agree with your 4 locks. I agree with Jokic, Giannis, SGA, and Tatum. I agree.
Sure.
I also agree that had he not gotten hurt, because he had moved into the MVP conversation, that it would have been LeBron on first team. Of course, I still think he makes, as long as he'll hit 65 games, right?
Yes.
We sure?
Which is calculated, by the way. Yeah.
So it comes down to, I think, 3 players: Donovan Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, and Anthony Edwards. So of those 3, who you got?
I got D-Mitch.
You got D-Mitch too. So you're with Uncle Chill.
Yeah, it's like D-Mitch, Cade, and then Edwards.
I feel like had Cade had this season, 2 seasons from now, he'd actually be in. But I think he's going to be up for other awards that we'll get to in a minute. And I think that's why it's going to be between Ant and Donovan Mitchell.
And I'm not on the fence about this. And Tone, you know this about me. I think Donovan Mitchell's the best 2 guard in the game. I think the separation between Donovan Mitchell and the other 2 guards this season in particular has just been his playmaking, his ability to pass, his ability to get into the teeth of the defense and get other guys involved, create open shots for guys like Dean Wade, Ty Jerome, create open shots for Okoro, create open shots for Darius Garland. Not only that, not stepping on toes and letting Darius Garland, because I think Darius Garland has benefited the most from Donovan Mitchell putting the battery in his back. I feel like he's the guy who's basically gotten out of the way and told Darius Garland that you have to be what we need you to be in order for us to be great. And I feel like Darius Garland has taken that cue from him, and it's worked. 100% it's worked.
I Look, you're with Mitch, and I'm not going to argue. If it goes either way,
Yep.
I'm not going to say, oh, one got snubbed or one got. I'm
Mhm.
going to just be the contrarian to you two and say I'm going to go with Ant because what Ant has done
Yep.
individually, not only has he been the leader of that team, not only did they trade away one of his main guys for another guy who hasn't worked out, but
Mhm.
his shooting, especially from three, has been nothing short of phenomenal. The growth he's as a shooter that he has become, which is what you need to be in today's NBA to be successful. When I look at those two, see your point completely. I lean like 51-49
Yep.
for Ant. So I'm going to go with Ant.
If I can counter that tone, the question that I have for Ant as a long ball shooter, which by the way, he's shooting like over 42% on 12 threes a game. That's elite. That's Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Right? That's Klay Thompson. That's what they're doing. The question that I have is this just an anomaly this season, or is Anthony Edwards really a long ball shooter in the future? And when I say that it may go down, okay, what does it go down? Let's just say for the sake of argument, next season, okay, those 12 threes go to 10, or let's say they go to 9 threes a game. Does that 3-point percentage of 43%, does that drop to like 34, 35? Because if it does, then I have to think that what you did this season was an anomaly. Or does it stay at around 38,
If he
39?
keeps it at 38, 39, 40,
Then I'm good. Then I'm
yeah.
good.
And that's why this changes. So this year in a vacuum,
Sure.
that's why I give him first team. And like I said, close, you can go either way.
Mhm.
But yeah, if it drops to 34, and now we have this conversation next year about who's the best two guard,
Yep.
well, then I'm like, last year was an
Sure.
anomaly. And
Mhm.
you're right, because and listen, the two guard has been historically very thin. Oh, 1 second, more important stuff. Come here. Oh, you can come here. Good night. I love you.
Go to bed.
She's
to bed.
braiding her hair for bed,
Go to bed.
so she can get the nice curls in the
Love you.
morning. So she
Yep.
didn't want to be. She didn't want to be on camera, but she did say goodnight.
Good night. Go to bed. As you were saying about Anthony Edwards' tone, those.
Yeah. So if it drops, then I was gonna say then we're having a different conversation about next year who's the number two. But
Right.
the two guard has become it's the thinnest, but also the most difficult to figure out. Like it's always been, I think, the thinnest, anyways. Because
Was it
it's
though,
just
Tone? I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about when you think about the 2000s with Brian and Richard
Yeah.
Hamilton and Brandon Roy, Vince Carter, Allen Iverson. I mean, that
Well,
two
people
guard
would call
spot.
Allen, and that's why I said complicated, because people would call Allen Iverson a 1, but we know he's a 2.
Right. He played
And
off the ball a lot with
so I
Eric
think
Snow. He did.
when I say historically, yeah, you can pick a moment in time where there was 3 or
Right.
4 or 5. But like Brandon Roy didn't last. Injuries, unfortunately.
Right.
Vince Carter, from like, you know how I feel about Vince.
I do know how Vince Carter. Tone,
He's
the issue that I have with you with Vince is this is what I want you to do. I want you to take away what you think he could have become in terms of an all-time great. And I just want you to look at Vince Carter up against his contemporaries at that time. So we're talking like 2000 to 2008. I mean, Vince Carter was one of the best two guards in the game.
But
I don't think that's a question. Do you think it was weak, or Vince Carter just wasn't as good as you thought he should have been?
Both, because I don't. He was not as good as he should have been.
Sure.
He was a phenomenal talent that didn't live up to the potential.
Right.
And when I look at the two guard, because there was not a lot of two guards, like the gap between him and Kobe, I think was huge.
It wasn't close.
And then when I look at guards in general, the gap becomes even bigger because now he falls down that list even more. And let's be honest, he was a 2-3. Like really, he wasn't like a combo 1-2. He was more like a 2-3, which then puts him into the conversation with some small forwards. So when I look at the list of small forwards and shooting guards, he's not top 10, even in those years. But that's why I say shooting guard's tough, because one, I don't think it's historically, and I'm saying over the 75 years, been a deep position. And now it's so mucky, right? maybe it's always been. Is Jerry West a 1 or 2? Is Allen Iverson a 1 or 2? Is Steph Curry a 1 or a 2? And I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap what you're listed as, because that doesn't matter. I don't care what they list you as, because here's an example. 2 rookies in the history of the NBA have been listed at all 5 positions. Do you know who they
are? Scotty Barnes and I think Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
Did they really play all 5 positions?
I don't recall Scotty Barnes playing the 5
at the exact same position. They played the exact same position all the time, and they were just listed at different spots. So did he really, like, did he play different? Like, did you watch the game and be like, oh wow, he's playing very different today? No, he played the same. That's why that thing drives me nuts about being listed as versus playing 5 positions.
I just feel like in the 2000s, Tone, I mean, I feel like the 2-guard spot was especially deep. Like the guys that I brought up, I mean, I feel like I feel like I'm leaving some guys out. Did I say Dwayne Wade? I don't think I said Dwayne Wade. I didn't say Dwayne Wade. I didn't say Manu Ginobili. I didn't say him.
Maybe that was the pinnacle of the 2-guard. But right now you've got Mitchell, Ant,
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
I think Jaylen Brown is a 2-guard. I always felt like he was a 2-guard.
And that's where it gets mucky again, right?
Yeah.
So
I've always thought that he was a 2.
But then by the time you get to number 4, he's not even the number 3 and 4 guy aren't even number 1s on their team.
And we live in such a positionless time that it makes it tricky to put guys in the boxes where they actually should be. And some people don't like positions because it's somewhat of a novelty, but I'm a position guy because I feel like we all have a job to do. We're not just rolling the balls out there and just go where you are and you're a baller. No, all of these guys need to be. We have to have positions. We have to have space where each of us play and what each of us do. There's a reason why you played the point, Tone, and I played the 2. You played the point because you dribble better than me. I played the 2 because I shoot better than you. That's where. But now we live in a space where the point shoots and dribbles just as good, if not better, than the 2. So
and that's why I'm shifting. I'll be honest. I'm shifting because as the players are allowed, because I want to be very clear, as the players are allowed to expand their skill set, and people always argue with me, what do you mean allowed? Trust me, allowed to increase their skill set. There, you got 7-foot centers facilitating the offense. You got 6-foot guards, right, shooting 15 times a game. So there's still positions on the floor and you still have responsibilities, but I feel like those responsibilities are starting to widen and change. And I don't know, I don't know that that's good for the game, to be honest, because everybody wants to be the guy who handles the ball and shoots the threes. And I can tell you, even as a youth coach, my biggest issue, I play a 5 out to try and spread the floor because I've got a bunch of guards and a bunch of shooters because that's all you got. But all of them always gravitate to the top of the key because they want to be the one with the ball in their hand. They don't want to cut and move and get a pass and whatever. They want to be the one with the ball in their hand. And when you have 5 guys on the court who all think they should be doing that, that might be the problem with the game, right? Is that no, I need you because I know for a fact, how do teams win? Teams win by having a number 1 scorer, a secondary scorer, a rebounder, a perimeter defender, an interior defender, and some of those can be duplicate people, but those are and then role players, right? But those are the 5 things that every championship team has figured out how to have. And if everybody is, I'm going to shoot it, I don't want to rebound, I don't want to pass, I don't want to set a screen, you're not winning. And then, like, we do play to win the game. Like, that's
the idea. That 100% is the idea.
Play to win the game.
But yes, that's 100% the idea. No doubt about that. No doubt. So,
all right. So that's the all NBA team.
Yeah. That's just first team. My second team gets a little tricky, Tone.
Okay.
My second team gets a little tricky because I think the locks on second team, I think, are Anthony Edwards, James, Cat. I think those 3 guys are locks on second team All-Pro. Now, where it gets tricky is guys like Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson is second team All-Pro this year. And then now we have a fifth spot. And that fifth spot, and I'm gonna be ballsy here because a lot of people won't say it. I'm saying it. I think Evan Mobley's second team All Pro this year. I originally was saying that he was third team All Pro. I think Evan Mobley's second team All Pro this year, ahead of Cade Cunningham. Yes, ahead of Cade Cunningham. I think my third team All Pro, I think it's Cade Cunningham. I think it's Dame Lillard. I think it's Trae Young. I think it's Steph Curry. And I think it's Jaren Jackson Jr.
So my second team,
Yep.
James,
Yep.
Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, because I have Anthony Edwards on my first team. Donovan Mitchell. I got Cade and Mobley.
Cade and Mobley, second team All Pro.
And team.
That's interesting.
Which leaves the third team for Jaren Jackson Jr., Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Cat, and Jalen Williams.
J-Dub's an All Pro this year. Wow. That's interesting. Where do you have Cat at, Tone?
I have Cat third team.
You got Cat at third team. I got Cat second team. Yeah.
But I'm admittedly not a fan of Cat. I know he's having a great year, but
yeah.
I'm telling you, and I know the playoffs means nothing. I know that it means nothing.
Right.
I know it means nothing when it comes to these awards because they're just for the regular season.
Right.
I just you're gonna see him collapse in the playoffs and be like, "Oh, is he a second team?" Like he'll probably make. They'll be like, "How did he make the second team?" And I'm like, "Because it's a regular." And then I'll be the one defending him, saying, "Well, it's a regular season award."
Yes. And to be honest with you, Tone, it sounds to me like you're not that. Are you a fan? Are you a fan of Cat's game, or you just anticipate him just going to pieces when the playoffs start? The reason why I'm asking you that, Tone, is because I'm not a fan of Luka's game. Even though I think Luka is the best scorer in the game, I'm not a big fan of his game. I'm more of a fan of the above the rim, super athletic wing. That's who I dig more than anybody. That doesn't negate how good Luka is. That doesn't negate the scorer that he is. I'm just not particularly fond of his game. That doesn't mean that I don't like him. I'm just not that fond of his game. That's all.
But see, I'm the opposite. I'm a fan of his game because I like Magic. I like Bird. Yes. I like those, Jokic. I like those guys. Those guys are zero athleticism. Maybe it's
right
for a reason. I don't know.
The slow, unathletic white guy. Is that who you digging, Tone? It's almost like Tone can relate to these people or something like that.
Magic is not a slow, unathletic white guy.
No, he is not.
Favorite player all time. You know what's interesting though, and I don't like Bird, but he's
why is that, Tone? Let's make sure we clean that up. It's because he's a Celtic. It ain't because of his game.
He gets the raindrops if they're ever. They won't even come.
He plays for the green and white. There we go. That's what you get, Tone. That's what you get.
That's new. So that being said, maybe that's what it is. He's a big man who does not play like a big man. And that bothers me. And I know what that means in the playoffs because when things slow down, game starts to tighten up, right? I keep telling people, post up mid-range becomes a thing in the playoffs. And that's why the teams, I always use the examples. If you look, even the Warriors, go look at their finals runs. Go look at how many shots they made, not how many they took from the three and the mid-range. Look how many they made from the mid-range. Right. I always bring this up to you. Last year, Jamal Murray against it was last year against my Lakers. Couldn't hit a three if his life depended on it. Took 2 steps in and killed him from the mid-range. Killed him. And so I see his game. I think just like he is like a Timu version of Joel Embiid. Like I want them to go inside more. And I'm not saying all the time.
Right.
But like just be a man. Be a man. Every once in a while, be a man.
But
go inside.
Here's the difference with that though, Tone, because you made a valid point, but he does do big man things. I mean, I think Cat led the league in rebounding at one point. I think he's in the top 3 in the league in rebounding.
I think it's accidental. I think they shoot a bunch of threes, and he gets a lot of long rebounds because he's tall.
Tone, you can't get 13, 14 rebounds a game. Like he's been a 12 rebound a game guy for like 4 or 5 years, Tone.
You can get 4 or 5.
Yeah, you could get 4 or 5, but that's like a third of them.
6.
That's a third of them, though. And on top of that, Tone, we know that the game is a lot different today. And you know how I feel about it.
I don't have to like it.
And I don't like it either, but I do accept it, right? So I'm not particularly fond of, you know, the jump shooting big man. I don't love him, but I do understand that that's part of his game. And Cat's game starts 15 feet and then it goes in. But he will be aggressive. Last season, he led the league in charges because he will get to the rim. He does do that. Now, he's not playing on the box
this year.
And this year, he's in the top. I think he's in the top 3 in the league in charges. He will run you over, getting to the rim. Now, here's the thing, though, Tone. Okay, do I miss Malone? Yes. Do I miss Shaq? Do I miss Olajuwon? The dude that plays on the box. He got a big guy on him. He got a small guy on him. Yes, I miss those guys. But I do have to accept the fact that the big man got tricked, and the game is moving further away from the basket, and they're adapting to it. But they still do play on the block. Cat played on the block last year. We saw him in the playoffs against having Jamal Murray on the box, abusing Jamal Murray. He did get on the block with Kevin Durant on him and abusing Kevin Durant. He did take advantage of these things. Yes, with KD. That kind of stuff matters, Tone. 100% it does. But I
Kevin Durant's 100 pounds soaking wet. Like, okay, that being said, here's what I think is going to happen. And I hope I'm wrong for all Knicks fans, because there's a lot of you. So, and I hope that I'm wrong. I think you traded away one guy who disappeared in the playoffs for another guy who's going to disappear in the playoffs this year.
And Julius Randle.
You want to do MVP? Because we only got 30 minutes left.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Tone.
All right, MVP. Do you want a list? Do you want the odds, or do you just want to say this is your pick?
What's the list, Tone?
So I'll give you the list here, the odds. Here are the top 4, according to FanDuel, the #1 sports book that I'm looking at right now. SGA plus minus 850. I don't have my glasses on.
Sure.
You don't care about the actual odds. I'll just tell you in order. So SGA, Jokic, Tatum, Giannis.
Those are the 4 guys today.
Those are the 4 guys today as of 7 p.m. Eastern today.
Those are the 4 guys today. Wow.
With the best odds.
I feel like Jason Tatum would have higher odds if I got a more consistent scorer out of him. And I think Jason Tatum is one of the better scorers in the game.
He's tied with Giannis at plus 50,000.
Yeah. I think he's one of the best scorers in the game. I feel like if I got a better scorer out of him, I think his odds would be a lot higher, because I think that's where the separation is right now with him. Because that's why he averages 27, because I'll get 32, I'll get 38, I'll get 42 out of him. But in between those, I'll get 19, I'll get 21. But he does all the other stuff too. One of the better playmakers and passers, one of the better visionaries, one of the best navigators in pick and roll, one of the best passers in pick and pop and pick and dive, especially getting downhill and firing the ball out to the long ball line, which I'm not particularly fond of, because I feel like that's by design, and he could finish around the rim a little bit better than he does. But other than that, I feel like the separation with him right now, I feel like more than anything is his inconsistency as a scorer. I feel like if I could get a consistent 28 from him, 29, where he doesn't have to go 42 or 43 to make up for what he did, I think that I think that his odds would be a lot better. Joker, you and I have already had this conversation, Tone. I don't have a league MVP this season, and I'm looking at Joker's numbers, and I have to pick who is the league MVP. If I'm looking at Joker's numbers, man, I'm thinking to myself, yikes, this guy right here, I'm having a difficult time with the logic that he's not the league MVP. So what is going to be the separator for me when I look at his numbers? The guy's averaging an efficient triple-double, and he's been awesome. So, I mean, what's going to be the separator with me? Well, the separator with me is going to be, well, where's his team in the Western Conference? That's where that leads me to the #1 guy, which is SGA. I feel like at the top of the Western Conference, they are there, and it has a lot to do with him. And he's primarily their bucket getter. They lost Chet for a large amount of they lost Chet for a large amount of the season. They still were at the top of the Western Conference. They got one of the best defenses. He's a part of that defense. He's huge with that defense. He's primarily there. I mean, he leads the league in scoring, the only player since Jordan and Dwayne Wade to average 35, 5, two steals and a block. Jordan won the MVP when he did that, by the way. There was only 3 other players to average 35, 5, 30 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, and win the league MVP. That was, let's see, I'm sorry. That was Jordan, James Harden, and Steph Curry. Those are the 3 guys to do it. And I think SGA is going to be number 4. I don't think that there's a guy who affects winning more than what SGA does. I still think Joker is a better player than him. And I think that we have to make sure that we get on the same page in what the league MVP means. So the league MVP is not necessarily the best player, because I went back and did some homework really quickly, Tone. I went back and did some homework. And since 1979-80, I counted in 46 years, 15 guys I counted. 15 times the best player in the league won the league MVP. So that's like once every 5 years.
15 times out of
46 years since 1979-80.
So
I'm thinking that's once every
every 3 years. Every 3 years.
Once every 3 years, the best player in the league wins it.
Interesting.
Yes. So and maybe my criteria might have been different, because there might have been some people who think that this was the best player in the game, and maybe it wasn't this player in the game. So, it depends on what you think. But with that being said, I think SGA is the league MVP this season. And the winning is what separates the winning, and on the defensive side of the basketball, that's the separator for me.
Yeah. As you know, I've flip-flop on this, because I think SGA deserves it. I think SGA would win it. If you told me to bet money, I would bet it on SGA to win it. I said, however, I always ask the question, if Jokic had never won an MVP, would he win it? Everyone I've asked, hands down, said yes, he would. However, coming down the stretch is what's going to be freshest in people's minds. And all of the things you said, plus a little bit of defense, we've seen, the holes in Jokic when he doesn't give effort,
right?
He can get cooked on defense. Not that SJ is a fantastic defender, but I think all the things you said, plus look, there's a narrative to this. I think the MVP comes back home where it belongs.
Oh my God.
To Canada. Canada. Since Steve Nash stole it from Kobe and Shaq, or whoever you want to say he stole it from, I think SGA and deserved. Like I think either one, if either one wins, Jokic or SGA, look, I don't think you can go wrong either way. It'll be Jokic's 100th one, whatever, it'll be fine. But I think SGA definitely deserves it because of all the things that you said in terms of his scoring, his passing, his all that. Like you hit the nail on the head. So I think he deserves it. I think it goes to SGA. And I know last week I was saying Jokic, and like I said, as the games progress, that's why these last 10 games are going to be really important, because this particular race is very close. And to your point, winning matters. That's why we play. And he's got OKC at the top of the West. So that does weigh into it a little bit for me. Now, before we get into the next award, we do have a couple of super chats. This one's for you, definitely. Thoughts on John Cena turning heel?
I don't know. I don't watch wrestling. I'm sorry. I'm not.
What?
Yeah, man. Listen, my mother took me and my brother to go see Hulk Hogan and the British Bulldogs in Madison Square Garden. That was the last time I was into wrestling. I haven't been in the wrestling. I was a big time Jake the Snake fan. The British Bulldogs. I don't really watch wrestling like that anymore. I don't. I do like Stone Cold though. I do. I do like Stone Cold. Stone Cold was my guy. So I don't know exactly what John Cena did. What does that mean? Turn heel? Like, so he was one of the good guys, and then he basically joined the elite. He basically joined the alliance.
What happened is he's always been like a baby face, right? He's been a good guy. And he was in the ring with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, and The Rock did a very weird, instead of doing this, he kind of went into his mouth. It was kind of weird, like fish hook kind of thing. And Cena turned on Cody Rhodes. and became a bad guy. Kind of like when Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hulk Hogan and joined the NWO. It was kind of one of those, a lesser, but kind of that type of moment. And he turned, and to answer Sports PSP's question, I love it. I love it because I've actually always been a fan of the heel. Like when I was a kid, and it was like all the guys that people hated were the guys that I rooted for. So I rooted for the Iron Sheik. I rooted for King, who are notoriously bad guys, right? King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. I hated Hulk Hogan. I was all for Macho Man. Oh yeah, knocking the crap out of Hulk Hogan always. You can go throughout the Honky Tonk Man, the
Roddy
$1 Million
Piper,
Man,
Roddy
Ric
Piper.
Flair. Roddy Piper from Toronto, a fan of, like, I was always for the bad guy, which was great for me because when things started to turn and everybody got more fluent and they were like, oh, the bad guy's cool, and they started liking Degeneration X. And the NWO, and who else was a Stone Cold. All those guys were bad guys,
right?
I loved it. I was like, see, welcome to the dark side,
which is kind of weird too, man. I've never really been a fan of the bad guy. Never been a fan. That's why Tone, you and I have had this conversation. How much I hated the Detroit Pistons. I couldn't stand the sight of them dudes. I just couldn't.
I love them because they kept knocking that bum Jordan on his butt. Like
the only reason why I watched them because of Joe Dumas. That's the only reason why I cared about the bad boys. That was it.
Razor Ramon, hey Chico, like that. Razor Ramon was my guy. It's survey time. Are you here? Anyways, WCW or the NWO. Big Sexy. I was Kevin Nash as a kid. Like, anyways, all right. Not as a kid, as an adult, but who cares? So yes. So thoughts on him turning heel. Sports PSP. Way long answer, but I loved it. All right, Cam Killer Cam. This one's gonna be easy. What's good with y'all?
You see it, my man. We're doing a podcast. That's what me and my man Tone do on Tuesday nights. Come check us out. You already here, so yeah.
And Cam Killer Cam has one too. So go check his out as long as it doesn't interfere with else. All right, next, I am cognizant of time because I always want to give some time at the end for the people to come on board. No shock that Betsy didn't show up. Right. You want to do Rookie of the Year? Do you want to do Defensive Player of the Year?
How about Rookie of the Year? So this one, I'm in the dark about this one, Tone, because it was McCain. That's what it looked like. I originally had
top 5 candidates. Here are your top 5 candidates according to FanDuel as of 7 p.m. this evening.
Yeah.
I always say his name wrong. Khalil
Ware.
There?
Khalil Ware.
I saw him, by the way, when I was in Miami at that game against the Buffalo Braves. Not bad. He's gonna be good. Yes, Sar, my guy Zach Edey, Rishier.
Zachary Rishier.
Wells, Jalen Wells, and my pick. I know he's the favorite, but I love this guy. I'm telling you right now. No, I don't mean the Clippers. I mean the Buffalo Braves. I'm telling you right now, JD. I'm telling you right now. I want next year. I'm telling you, this will be the number 2 seed in the NBA. De'Aaron Fox at the 1. The Rookie of the Year this year, Castle at the 2. Cooper Flag at the 3. Wemby at the 4. And anybody's mama at the 5. That is going to be the Spurs lineup, and they are going to be dangerous because I don't know if Castle shoots the ball consistently enough to play the 2, but that's what he would be in the lab for me, doing nothing but shooting threes. Like, I want to see like an ant increase in 3-point shooting next year. And I love Castle. I love his athleticism. I love his style of play. I love it.
I seen him in San Francisco at the All-Star game, and Tone, he's every bit of 6'6". He is not a small dude. He is huge. I did not know he was that big. So I had the big fella from Memphis, Zach Edey. I had him before the season started. I got turned on to this kid, Jalen Wells. I think it's Castle though. I do. I think it's Castle.
I hope they don't. I know San Antonio likes having like amazing guards coming off the bench.
Yep.
And maybe he'll be the Manu Ginobili guy, but I like him and De'Aaron Fox. I think would be spectacular.
Yes, I love every bit of that. Yes, the athletic, the way that they would use, the way that San Antonio was going to use Castle is the way I think Portland should be using Sharp. Play faster, get him out in transition, showcase his athleticism more, get him in stop and pop, get stuff at the rim for him. We're going to turn him into a one-on-one player late. We're going to turn him into a one-on-one player later, but showcase his athleticism. Make him more of a transition player. That's how I think Portland should be using Sharp. That's how I think San Antonio is going to use Castle.
I don't buy jerseys. I don't buy NBA jerseys, as you may or may not know for myself.
Sure.
But the next one that I buy, most likely for Fluent Jr., will be a Castle Spurs jersey. Yes, I know that makes you happy, Michelle Beadle. She's gonna love that. That's how high I'm on this guy. He is the first player that I've been this high on since I told you, if you may or may not remember 4 years ago when we started doing this, and I said the only player I'd like pay full price to see is Ja.
Yep.
That's how I'm getting to that point with Castle.
I can get with that, Tone. I can. There's not a lot of guys.
I don't play full price for me.
Right.
That one I might.
Sure.
Depoy or most improved?
Let's go with the most improved player, Tone. So you gave me you actually swayed me last season when we talked about what the most improved player should be. And what exactly the most improved player entails. And before the season started, I had J-Dub. He was the guy that I had before the season started. As the season progressed, I thought it was Norman Powell for what Norman Powell was doing. And you and I have had this conversation, Tone, that 5 points on average is what your scoring average goes up. And Norman Powell's went up almost 10 points. I think he went from averaging like 17 a game last year to averaging 25. So with that being said, I don't think that there's a guy, if we're going off this criteria of being most improved, I don't think that there's a guy who's improved more than Christian Brown this season. Scoring average has doubled. He's moved into the starting lineup. Great as an athlete, great at finishing. I think it's Christian Brown this season as the most improved player.
That's a good pick. And I really want to pick someone else, but I know the numbers won't support it because people like to see that increase, that increase in scoring average. I just really need to shout this one out. I loved Randy Orton. Loved Randy Orton. All right, sorry. And The Undertaker for that matter too. I used to do the thing with my eyes. I can't do it anymore where you roll them in the back of your head and all you see is white. Scare the crap out of me. However, I don't think the numbers are going to support him winning. But what I have seen from him on the court as a leader, the improvement in the team, I'm sure some of that has to do with probably my pick for Coach of the Year. So I'm going to give that answer away right now. If I had a vote, and because I don't think they really have specified criteria anyways. But if I had a vote, I'd give it to Cade Cunningham. I'd give my vote to Cade Cunningham because I think the numbers, like I said, don't pop up in terms of the increase, although they've gotten better. But
they do though, Tone. That's the thing. Like you just meant, even though the numbers that he has, they're not much different than last year. But I 23 is not the same as 23 when I'm playing better. And I feel like that's what's going on with Cade.
And that's what I said. So I know the numbers are support. So that's where I vote. However, the person I think is going to win, and thank you again, I give the credit to Fluent Jr. because this guy was not on my radar. Dyson Daniels has been every bit of what Fluent Jr. told me as a rookie. Watch this kid, Dyson Daniels. He's going to be all defensive team, and don't be surprised if he doesn't make all NBA by his 5th or 6th season. I think he was right. I'm like, what the hell? Right.
He is right.
So I'm going with most improved because the more I watch him, the more I'm like, damn, like I would love to see him on a more, no offense, Atlanta, on a more competitive team.
Tone, he actually is on a really good team in Atlanta.
I know, but it's I know.
I wish they didn't lose Jalen Johnson because I think I think you'd be talking a lot different about Atlanta had they. I mean, that's a 20-10 guy that's out the lineup.
Yeah,
That's a
I
big
know
deal.
stuff that happens. I just
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people I feel like things get lost in Atlanta.
It
Like
does. That could happen.
Value every player that's a Hawk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not fair at all. But I feel like he gets lost a little. But anyways, Dyson Daniels is my pick for most improved.
Sure, fair enough.
Brown, Christian, you're saying Christian
Brown. Yeah, Christian Brown in Denver.
Who spells it Braun? Yeah.
And then wonders why people call him that.
Well, it's spelled like you can't
spelled Braun. That's what it's spelled.
You can't spell your name SSSST. I'll put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What's that name? Forest.
No, it's not Forest.
It is. It's 4ST. Forest. You can't get mad when people call you what up.
Right. Right. But it's Forest. 4 S's in a T. Forest.
Yes, it's Forest.
Yeah, interesting. Yep.
I can't even believe it. All right, next award.
Mm-hmm.
We did rookie.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't do Depoy. You want to do
Depoy
or 6-man?
How about 6-man of the year, Tone? So the 6-man of the year, I think it's been this guy for the entire season. As good as I thought DeAndre Hunter had a really good shot at being the 6-man when he was in Atlanta. He was one of the best rotation players. I feel like Malik Beasley has emerged as 6-man of the year. I think he's done a great job coming off the bench. But I think the best rotation player in the game is Peyton Pritchard in Boston. And to be honest with you, I think there's a gap between him and the rest of the guys. I don't think it's a question. I'm
going to keep pushing for my Pistons. And so, although Pritchard is the odds-on favorite, and you're right, I'm going to stick with Malik Beasley because just, again, that team, what did they added Tobias Harris. Like, no offense. That's not a.
I said this morning when I was on live this morning. I said this is the same team. They had 7 guys back from that team last year that lost 28 straight games. They lost. I had them losing almost 40 straight until Tone right here told me who was going to screw it up. He told me that Toronto was going to screw it up.
It wasn't for the Raptors screwing it up. This is a team that would have lost 40 straight games.
I had them not winning the game for 2 months. I had that going on. No doubt about it.
And as the song goes, look at me now. Look at me now.
Tone, all of you guys out there, if we being honest, they add Tobias Harris, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Paul Reed. Do not tell me that you cared when you heard this, because you didn't. You did not care. You said
number 1 pick in the draft, they're getting Cooper Flag.
You said that. Don't tell me any different. You thought they were going to be garbage again, and they weren't.
And so
they were not.
And
you did
again,
not.
Maybe watching them so much.
Yeah.
You know, I'm biased a little bit, but I'm gonna go Malik Beasley. I'm gonna go Malik Beasley.
Fair enough.
Pritchard's the best 6-man on the best team, so one of the best teams. Yeah. Coach of the year. What did we miss? We got MVP. We got Rookie of the Year. Did we do Depoy? We didn't do Depoy. Why are you avoiding Depoy?
We did not, because I wanted to. We didn't do Clutch Player of the Year neither.
We'll do Clutch Player and Coach.
Yeah. So
Depoy, Clutch Player, Coach.
Well, Defensive Player of the Year, to your point, Tone, I got wrapped up in my guy Herb Jones. While I'm getting wrapped up in my guy Herb Jones, they got another wing defender down there in New Orleans named Dyson Daniels that I ain't paying attention to. Turns out,
during that time, yes.
During that time, they got another guy down there in New Orleans that's a fantastic defender, but I ain't paying no attention to him because I'm wrapped up in Herb Jones. He moves to Atlanta, and I haven't seen anything like this. I feel like I'm watching Alvin Robinson all over again. I'm like, yo, that looks like Alvin Robinson. Hands busy. Feet moving, hands busy, stays in the passing lane, beating guys to spots. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's incredible. But with that also being said, the best defensive player in the game, I think, with Wemby being in, and even if Wemby was in the lineup, with Wemby being in San Antonio, the best defensive player in the league is in Cleveland. His name's Evan Mobley.
I knew you've been consistent. You've been so consistent that coming into this, I was like, I had him penciled in and then I erased him. And the reason I erased him is because I don't think we give enough credit. And I know we've had this argument before, so we don't have to have it again about the interior defenders being the last line of defense, blah, 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 blah. However, they might be the last line of defense, but they're not being asked to defend the same big dominant dudes that they used to be. And I think their life is a little bit easier. And I think that they've made it so hard to be a perimeter defender that people who don't watch basketball, and I've been accused of this shockingly, which is I'm like, you don't listen to me. I swear people don't listen when I talk. They just assume because I have gray in my beard what I think. They've made it so difficult for perimeter defenders to defend that people think there's no defense in this era anymore.
Which is not true.
And so when you find an elite perimeter defender who you can put on your best wing scorer, and listen, no one stops anybody, and let's get that out of your head. But he dropped 34. So what? Watch the game. It might have been 34, but I guarantee you it was a difficult 34, and I guarantee you all 34 weren't on this dude.
No, it was not.
They've made it so hard to defend that when you get an elite defender who you can consistently just say, hey, that's their best scorer, that's their best perimeter scorer, you on him. And the other four guys can focus on the other four. They need to be given credit. So I'm going, this might be a Canadian sweep. Lou Dort.
Lou Dort.
No one's giving him any love. When was the last time you heard his name?
In the torture chamber? Is that who you're talking about? I do not want to go into the torture chamber.
I do not want to go into the torture chamber.
No, I don't.
From Montreal. I love when you can just say, yo, you guard him. We got the rest.
I'll deal with him. I'll deal with him.
It reminds me of of Revis Island, or putting Dion on the number one receiver in football and just being like, all right, you got that? We got the other side of the field. We good. That's how I feel. What I can do with Dort. I can be like,
Bruce Bowen. It reminds me of guys like Bruce Bowen. Can you score the rest of the points? Don't worry about him. I'll deal with him. You score the rest of the points. Tony Allen. Same thing. Joe Dumas. You score the rest of the points. I'll deal with him. Don't worry about him.
Yeah,
I'll deal with him.
I think they don't get enough love, and it's so hard to be a perimeter. So that's what I got. And again, does it probably go to Mobley? Probably. Why? Because they love big men. They love interior defenders. They like blocks. As long as it's not Rudy Gobert, I don't care.
Can you handle it anymore, Tone? Can you handle Rudy anymore, Tone?
What do you say? I might drive my car into a telephone pole if Rudy Gobert wins another defensive player.
Here you go, big fella. Number 5.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
Clutch player of the year. Now, this is an interesting one for me because once upon a time, I thought that there were stats and it was whoever statistically, that's who got it. Is
that's essentially what? No, that has not changed. That's essentially what it is. I mean, Jalen Brunson.
Oh, then it's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, it's Jalen Brunson. I mean, the Knicks lead the league in clutch games. Jalen Brunson leads the league in clutch points. I think the Knicks lead the league in clutch wins. So I think it's going to be Jalen Brunson.
Until the playoffs when they lose all their clutch games.
No,
so Jalen Brunson, congratulations, your clutch player of the year, and you'll have the same postseason as De'Aaron Fox did when he won it. Coach of the year, mine's not going to be surprised, so I'll let you. Although it might be the same, we might pick the same person. I don't know.
So I think it's down to 3 guys. I think Kenny Atkinson has done a fantastic job with a team that was already good. I think he just made them better. I think Mark Daigneault, what he did with that Oklahoma City Thunder team is beyond impressive, considering he lost Chet for the majority of the year, and then he loses J-Dub. They're still rolling, but goes back to my original logic, Tone. Your team lost almost 28. Your team lost almost 40 straight games last year. You had 7 guys back on the roster, and you added those 4 guys. You guys did not care. You didn't care when y'all added those 4 guys in Detroit. You thought you guys were going to be garbage. They're a game away, 1 game away from hosting a playoff series. I think the JB Bickerstaff is the coach of the year, Tone.
Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best player on the Cavaliers?
The best player on the Cavaliers, I think, is Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. And they have a guy who you picked to be defensive player of the year.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say JJ Redick, but I'm gonna throw JJ Redick in there. JJ Redick.
I did hear about JJ Redick.
Who does JJ Redick have?
He's got James and he's got Luka.
And he used to have James and AD.
And
so,
Anthony Davis, correct.
Who does Mark Daigneault?
Mark Daigneault. He's got SGA. He's got J-Dub. He's got Chet, who he lost for a significant amount of time, but he's got that guy. He's got Hartenstein.
So take the top 3 guys from each one of those teams.
Yep.
And compare them to who are the 3 best players on the Pistons?
Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, and Tobias Harris.
Is it close who has the weakest 3 out of that bunch?
It's not close.
The job that he has done in Detroit with the same essential players, but more importantly, what he has done to change the culture of the team, because they could have very easily fallen into the Philadelphia 76ers. No, the Philadelphia 76ers during that time of we're tanking to build, right?
Yep.
And then once you become a loser, it's really hard to come out of that. And they took this team that, like you said, was a laughing stock last year. And
they were a joke, Tone. They were a joke. 100%. They were a joke.
A competitive, I don't want to face them type of team that quick. I mean, like, because one of the things I said to you, and you'll remember this, I think, when I say it, is when they hired Monty Williams, he came in and the first thing he said was, it's going to work. It's going to get worse before it gets better.
He didn't want the job. He didn't even want the job. And
you argued with me and said, no, the Pistons will be better. Monty Williams coming from Phoenix. And I said, no, he said it's going to get worse before it gets better. They're going to be listening before. You didn't listen. Just like I told you Philadelphia was going to suck this year. You got to start listening to me.
You did tell me that. You told me they were going to be garbage, and they are trash.
And when he said that, I said to you guys, and remember, I think Players' Choice did the rankings, and I had them dead last year, and everyone was on me. Like Ron was like, "How can you have the Pistons last?" Blah, blah, blah. And I said, he said they're going to get worse. So he's going down that path. Well, JB came in and said, "No, we're going to be good. We're going to be competitive," and having the least amount of talent from all the bunch of guys to have that type of turnaround in mindset, in culture, is huge. And I don't know if the voters look at that, but I do. So yeah, I think it's JB Bickerstaff, and it's a lock. But my dark horse isn't Atkinson's or Mark. It's actually JJ Redick, because JJ Redick has had to deal with, one, never being a head coach before at any level ever, having to go into LA, which is a huge market with huge expectations, having to deal with LeBron. And whatever you want to say about LeBron, let's be honest, he is a handful for coaches because he's earned the right to say, I want it this way. So having to deal with the LeBron circus, Bronny, an AD for Luka trade, just everything, Genie bust, everything that goes on with LA, and everyone saying, including myself, how is this guy going to be a coach of a team? He's never coached. Never has a coach with zero experience come in and gone to an NBA championship. Never. He's going to do it? JJ Redick, a podcaster? No, not going to happen. This sounds like
Tone. This sounds like Tone eating his words, because I vividly remember Tone telling me that this is going to be a disaster.
I've always said, if I'm wrong, I admit it, and people don't believe me, but I'm just rarely wrong. That's why you rarely hear it. But and he has done a great job with all the stuff, because even everything we know, there's 100 other things that we don't know. Everything he's had. This
was a gimmick, Tone. But when this started, this was a 100% gimmick. There's no way that this is going to work. This guy he's never coached anywhere. Not in at least Steve Kerr, before he got the Warriors job, he coached in the summer league. He did that.
But he coached, but he also learned under Phil Jackson. He learned under Popovich. Don't forget. Then he was the GM in Phoenix with Mike D'Antoni as coach. Like he was around working directly with some of the greatest coaches ever and inherited a team and a half. Mark Jackson didn't give him a keys to a Pinto. He gave him a keys to a Bentley. But so JJ Redick has, and more importantly, what he has done with the team defense and their effort, right? Effort is a sign of coaching. Effort is a sign of coaching.
100%.
They're giving effort. So it's been unbelievable to watch. And I think that's the last award. So give credit to JJ Redick. We got one super chat from Mello. Normally I'd say Mobley, but Dyson has better numbers. Are better defensive. If Jared Allen wasn't beside him, it would be a runaway for Mobley.
But I mean, the fact that he's beside him, I think that enhances it because that makes their team better. So,
and I think that's the thing. Historically, the defensive player of the year has gone to the person who has the best defensive stats, defensive advanced stats on the higher ranked defensive team.
Sure,
and it's not always fair, right? Like. But that's what ends up happening. Unfortunately, Betsy didn't show up for a debate. I don't see unless you say in 1 second in the comments, I'm here, but you're not, but you're chicken. I really had an amazing, it means nothing. Do you have 30 seconds? I know you got to go. Can I do my 30-second it means nothing?
Let's hear it.
I wasn't ready. I didn't realize how we ran out of time so quickly.
This is what happens when you got a good show going on, Tone. We rolling. This is what happens.
One other quick thing. You know how you have Debbie Allen in your family?
I do have Debbie Allen in my family. Look at this.
You can fly, bro.
Oh my goodness.
She's coming.
Tone got a ballerina in his family.
We gotta get your niece and my daughter. They can choreograph something. All right, I'm gonna give you. I had trivia for you too, so I'll save it for next week. But let me give you this. Let me give you my list.
You just made the list.
And my list is always about total points, so that's where I'm going. Dwayne Wade, Elgin Baylor, Damian Lillard, Clyde Drexler, Larry Bird. Robert Parrish has more total points than all of them. It means nothing. It means nothing.
Oh my God.
It means nothing.
Oh my God. This is incredible.
Take it away, Jay.
Hey, man, it was good to see you guys tonight. You guys know where to find us. Every Tuesday night, me and my man Tony Toner here on both the Chilltown Hoops and the Sports Fluent Network right here on YouTube. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. Talk to you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys.
Now you're more fluent.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.